next thing I have is the case management cost report. And this is our projected cost report for FY10. Third time I've done this today. We'll just kind of go through it page by page here. The first page is just basically a cover page that kind of brings the rest of the information together. So,
is this the rate is a
15-minute
increment? That's what I was thinking. Okay.
And like I said, in July I'll probably do it all over again. Who knows? But I will if I do. So each one of these services that we provide, we don't do the children's mental health waiver, and we are certified to do it, but currently we don't do anything with elderly waiver case management. And the case management CMI, that would be like through Magellan, that's not through IME, it's a different sort of payment. And then they actually pay 100%. That doesn't, the county doesn't pay any percent of that. Okay, and then on to the next page. The biggest piece of this that I need to point out is under the service code number 1. It's about in the middle of the page where it's highlighted. Those are the different units, as you can see on the front page. You can match up the numbers, like 0578 is MR adult, mentally retarded adult, and we're estimating about 2,900 15-minute units. 0574, that's the children under the MR waiver, and we're estimating about 800 units. The 0579 again is the Magellan piece, and we really don't have a lot. It's really super hard to get someone approved for case management under Magellan. A lot of times they end up going over to the HAB, which is the next one, the 1330, and we're estimating that we're going to have about 400 15-minute units of that service. And then currently we just have, where did it go? Oh, 1409, where you have 30. We currently only work with one individual who is on the brain injury waiver, and so that's why that number is so low.
I didn't realize we were doing anyone.
Yeah, we just have one. It was one of them that we kind of adopted from Carol, and when they were given the option not to, whether they wanted to go back or not, they chose not to. But we were previously certified to do BI.
I knew we could, I just didn't know we were doing it.
And he is the only one we had. We haven't even had any. Well, we've had one other referral, I take that back, but there isn't a slot open. So we could end up doing more, but I have no idea when the slot might open up, so I didn't really have a way to estimate or throw in a satisfactory number for that. Plus, he was an existing, it wasn't one that was opened up, so we aren't looking at a whole lot of units for him. And then again, you go over under the MBT, and that's the, that is the right place on the front to put that, but over here it's under NBC.
What is NBC? I don't recognize that one.
NBC is the Magellan that I talked about, the CMI, but there wasn't any other place on the front page to put it other than the 0579, so I might have to get clarification from the people that I send this into which one I have to put that under, but it won't affect the bottom line. It's just a matter of which column I put it in. So the rate will be the same, it's just a matter of where to put it. And then Schedule B, what we do on Schedule B is it's broken down to administrative, professional, direct client care, which we don't do anything with that. Clerical and other staff. We have one clerical, we have 3 under the professional and 1 under the administrator. And the FTEs that you'll see in the third column under number of staff, what we do there when we look at this is we take the person's complete salary and take what percent of their time, and we track that, and we take what percent of their time is going to be put in the case management program. And you'll see that Carrie's is 75%, but that's with her, it's with her case management supervisor and what she's doing for a caseload. So that's why that number is so large, because the two are combined there. And then, of course, Connie and Andrea, 100% of their time goes in there. So, And then under Barb's, she generally puts in about 70% of her time into case management, so. And then you can see the bottom line, what percent of their salaries and what that comes up to, so. On Schedule D, that is our expense report, and that's pretty self-explanatory. It's got all the administrative, professional staff amounts. Under health benefits, again, pretty self-explanatory. Those are also percents. I have to go back to what percent of the individual's salaries and use the same percent to figure out those benefits. So, as well as with the FICA. And the non-medical that you see under 2490, that's our CCMS, is what that is. Office supplies, telephone, internet, postage and shipping. We don't have any building expenses.
Why not? That's part of the rate as well.
The county owns the building, so we can't claim it.
We do indirect. Aren't we reimbursed indirect?
Through that, never been on the cost report, because I wondered about that, and I went back and looked on it, so.
Well, let's see.
We are,
as I understand it from the training we got, we have to pay rent to the county in order to claim it, to bring it out of this. But we don't pay rent to the county, correct?
correct. But I was thinking that there is an allowance for indirect that we are able to capture.
There is, but it's never had that piece in it, and that's, I mean, I don't know, is that what you're talking about, or 16.2%?
No, it's that
The
cost services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't, I haven't really studied it that hard, but I don't think it has anything about building, I don't know.
The indirect cost rate, and that's what I was. You better question this.
Okay. Well,
because there is an allowance for indirect, which includes space, and which I always understood that was part of this rate.
Well, what that number on there is used for is you take 16.2% of the total salaries that's on the first page, and that's where we come up with the number under the indirect service cost, under
Where's that?
5,000 on
The bottom.
yeah.
21,619.
And that's what we use that number for.
Okay. So that is computed as part of the rate.
I think that's where we get that number.
Because I knew it needed to be there somewhere, and there is an
Some
allowance.
attempt to identify facility.
Correct.
Yeah. Because otherwise what we were told when we were trained is that we have to pay rent to the county in order to write that down as an actual expense.
Which is not necessary as long as it's included in the
Yeah.
and I knew it was somewhere, but I wasn't sure where.
And I met with Don and Lisa, Don Menzer and Lisa Langwitz, and we all reviewed our cost reports together, and I still had a couple of unanswered questions, and that was one of them. I thought perhaps the number in here, the 16,725, was what we could claim, but that's what was claimed in FY08. So, oh, and here it says for that one, 1,989 is for space at the courthouse. So when we get our next letter like this, it'll break down what percent or what amount of that was for that space. So, okay, and then as you go down, then on the second page, we've got the mileage and auto rental, which we don't rent an auto, but the mileage, and then what it costs to maintain our company vehicle. The mileage, we have to take our total mileage times .39. That's the number we have to use if ours is over that. So that's what that comes to. And then we've got our training, and I believe the agency vehicle, and I might have this switched around, I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but the vehicle expense up there is the gas we've used, and then down here it's the tires and oil changes and things like that.